This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Warning, the following broadcast contains adult language, adult content, frank safety discussions, and stories that might sound unbelievable. But believe me, every one of those stories is true. We didn't start the safety war, but we are going to fight to win it. For our families, for our communities, for our workplaces, and for our lives. Everyone's talking about Will Smith today and his Oscar acting last night, I guess. I think we need to do so also. Doing something because it feels good isn't always a good idea, especially if you're angry. I grew up listening to Bernard Meltzer on WOR radio in New York during the 1970s with my parents. His program was, What's Your Problem? It seemed like my parents never missed the program since he was on every time we were coming home from church. I wanted to listen to something else, but sure enough, WOR was on. One of his pieces of advice that always stayed with me was, be careful when you are angry. You'll make the best speech of your life. Another proverb that he always shared was, because it feels good doesn't mean you should necessarily do it. How many times have we been angry and said nothing, then said later on, I should have said whatever, right? The other way of handling this type of situation is pain for pain, where you lash out at the other person who's trying to make a fool out of you, and then the other person plays the victim. That's actually one of the attributes of a sociopath, FYI. That's the trap here, isn't it? That's the trap that Will Smith fell into. In this case, Chris Rock was in fact the victim of workplace violence. Right now, we don't know what price Will Smith will pay, because it's a moving target, because he's a public person, and the public is fickle when it comes to this thing. The lesson here is not what Will Smith should have done, but what did he learn, and how could he improve himself? What did we all learn about this? And how could we all improve? He already issued an apology to everyone, including Chris Rock. Maybe we need to be heading towards some kind of reconciliation here, if that's even possible. Now, let's talk about ourselves. Were there situations where we got angry and flew off the handle? And how many of those situations have turned out for the better for everybody involved? Not too many, I'm going to venture to guess. Here's another question. This is just like getting hurt at work. If Will Smith knew what the fallout was going to be, would he have acted the way he did? Also, if Chris Rock knew that he was going to get slapped, would he have said the same thing? Would he have said the joke? I think both would have probably acted differently. Maybe we should think more before we act and talk. That's really where we need to be headed here, isn't it? In the safety field, at least in the projects I've been involved with, this is not a unique situation. Far from it. We have developed strategies to prevent this type of thing from happening, react to it, and to manage it. We've developed strategies all around how to deal with these things. Can you say that for your organization? Can you say that about yourself and your family? Does your organization have a plan on dealing with this stuff? Workplace violence. Give us a call here at Safety Wars, or contact us, and we can help you out here. The situation at the Oscars last night is a microcosm of the social strife we are feeling today. Perhaps we need to look inside ourselves to find a solution. Be a little bit kinder to people. Maybe a little bit more empathetic. One thing is for sure. We can control ourselves and not the other person. We can control our reactions. Perhaps if we could control our anger, we won't make the best speech of our lives. For Safety Wars, this is Jim Polzel. Are you tired of hiring safety consultants and safety professionals that don't have any passion for what they're doing? How about those who have never worked in the field or done the dirty work? Is there resistance to taking safety training because the training is boring, irrelevant, and unengaging? Are your employees playing a teen, college student, or someone on the dark web to take the online safety training for them? Look no further. Safety Wars can come to your facility or do most of the training you need through an online platform at times convenient for you. For more information, call me, Jim Posel, your Safety Wars host, at 845-694-4170. Or you can email me at jim@safetywars.com. Remember, if you've heard this transmission, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.